This influences the actions of the main character, Reverend Paris, as it causes him to send for Reverend Caleb Beverley to hunt down the devil. This ensures that the witch hunt cannot now be rescinded, and the gravity of this causes hysteria and accusations by the end of Act 1, and results in the death of many innocent characters by the end of the play. The devil's loose in Salem, Mr. Proctor. You must discover where he's hiding. I would choose to set my presentation on the altar of a large church, end on staging with a flat upstage right. With the audience seated in pews, however, I would remove all statues and images of Jesus and replace them with images and figurines of the devil to highlight how the Puritan religion often focused on freedom of the devil rather than the love of God. Historical. Since their arrival in Massachusetts, the Puritan people had been actively involved in violent conflict with the Native American Indians from whom they stole land. I saw Indians smash my dear parents' skulls on the pillow next to mine. Although Miller points out that the time of armed camp had passed, this bloody and violent conflict would very much have been in living memory and led the Puritan people to become very defensive. As we see in the play, this influences the actions of the characters, as the Salemites tended to go on the attack whenever they felt threatened. A pointy reckoning that will shudder you. In order to highlight the lasting impact of the brutal conflict upon the Salemites, I would ensure that whenever a character enters a room in Act 1, they would check over their shoulder before carefully closing the door behind them, as though checking for threats. The main characters, such as John Proctor and Giles Corey, would carry personal proof of a 1692 shotgun to show that they still live with the memories of conflict. Religious. Theocracy was their way of giving the church the most power. Theology is a fortress. By living in a theocratic society, this meant that the church was in charge of the village, and all rules and laws were based on religion. Hale uses the Ten Commandments to test John's faith. If John failed to recite them, people would become suspicious of his dedication to church. In Act 2, surrounding the boundaries of the stage, upstage right, and stage left, with stone crosses of different shapes and sizes adorning the walls are placed on the floor, as though the characters are trapped by their religion. Environmental. The people of Salem lived on the edge of wilderness and were isolated from neighbouring villages. Villagers thought that the virgin forest was the devil's last preserve. Ignorance of anything they didn't know or feared, the tendency to blame the devil for actions of villagers. The girls chose to go to the woods as this is the forbidden place, which leads to the dancing and the accusations. We were dancing in the woods last night and my uncle looked in on us. Environmental. In order to highlight how isolated Salem was, I would play sound effects of wild animals to show that they lived far from, for example, a bird squawking at a volume of level 8 to show that they are close by. The high volume shows the extent of the fear of the devil, as actors would react to these noises. The repressive nature. The girls rebel and dance in the forest due to the repressive nature of society that they find themselves in. Uncle, I'll be whipped if I must be. The girls dancing in the woods to try and conjure spirits resulted in a tragic spiral of deaths. I myself was signed 72 death warrants. Repressive nature. I would have Tituba standing centre stage and the girls marching into the beat of a drum. Their stylized movement highlights the intensity of the situation. Plutocracy. Plutocracy was an important social condition. There was opposition. It influences Danforth to exert even more pressure on the influencing when anyone approaches.